friend of the program and a friend of mine, Bill O'Reilly. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Taking a beating, but still standing.
So, Bill, you and I spoke over the weekend, and I said to you that I wanted to ask you some honest questions and just personal for me, because I don't know, and anybody can lie to anybody, but you would be, you would be one of the greatest liars ever, because of the consistency of your lies, if you were lying to me, and the consistency of your behavior around me and my staff, which we have toured together. Sure. I have seen you on Friday nights. I have seen you in hotels. My staff has, and I have women that work for me, and we've never had any problem whatsoever or an inkling that you might be one of those guys.
Yeah, well, I have been in the broadcast business for 43 years, 12 different companies. Never one time was there any complaint filed against me with human resources or anybody's legal team, and nothing, zero.
Megyn Kelly.
So I think the track record speaks for itself, and I think that people, when they look at the statement that we have posted on BillO'Reilly.com, when they look at the affidavit, and now the 3 letters that I sent you. Did you get the letters from Gretchen Cross?
I did.
And Megyn Kelly?
I wanted to know if I was allowed to publish them.
Oh, yeah, sure. So what I'm trying to get across by coming on with you today are 2 things. Number one, I want the story to go away because it's brutalizing my family. And number 2, I'm not going to run and hide because I didn't do anything wrong. And I think that the evidence that we've put forth is very strong, very compelling, that the New York Times wants to take me out of the marketplace. This is the second time they've attacked me. And the article on Sunday regurgitated the first article. That was like 75% of it. They had to run it twice in case you didn't get it last April. And they know that I'm in a disadvantage because I can't comment specifically on any case that has been resolved. That's one of the
stipulations.
Legal, compelling things that when you resolve something, it is always done in a nobody says anything. And you know who knows that best? The New York Times, because they've settled a number of harassment complaints in a confidential way. Yet in their article on page 1 today, screaming about, well, we shouldn't have this kind of provision, they don't mention that. And they don't mention a lot of things. So I think... Go ahead.
So Bill, I want to ask you a couple of questions. The biggest question that is on everybody's mind is, okay, you can settle, but $32 million coming out of your own pocket, nobody does that.
Right.
So
what do you want me to say? I'm not. The only comment I could make on that issue without getting the thing back into a legal arena would be the first article that the New York Times wrote, quoted figures and added them up, and it was wildly wrong. But I can't confirm or deny anything, because once I do that, then it goes back into the legal arena, which you don't want. And they know that. So they could say whatever they want to say. They know that. They know we're hamstrung, my attorneys and investigative team, that we can't.
Was this settlement by you alone, or was Fox involved?
I can't, Beck, as I told you off the camera, I know you have to ask the questions for your audience. I can't comment on any specific case at all. If I could, I would, but I cannot.
Can you tell me about the relationship that you had with Lee's will? I have.
No, I cannot. What we have posted is an affidavit from Miss Wheel, sworn affidavit. Okay, That's posted on BillO'Reilly.com. That's it. That was, we could post. We did. There it is. And I can't speak to anything other than that. I know it's frustrating.
You know, it's really frustrating because
it's very frustrating for me. You can imagine me sitting here, all right, being accused of everything under the sun, and the end game is let's link O'Reilly with Harvey Weinstein. Let's make him that. That's what we want to do. All right, and so we take him out of the marketplace forever. He never gets to give his opinion on issues again. We take him out because we hate him, and the New York Times obviously hates me. It's dishonest in the extreme, and it's frustrating for me. But unless I want another 7 or 8 years of constant litigation that puts my children in a kill zone, I have to maintain my discipline.
Okay,
the only reason I can tell you this, Beck, in 20 years plus at the Fox News Channel. How long did you work there, by the way?
4 years, 3 years.
Okay, I
2
was
years,
there 20 years.
10 minutes. I don't remember.
6 months. All right, 20 years and 6 months. I resolved 3 things. That's all I resolved in 20 years and 6 months. I resolved 3 things, and the only reason I did resolve them was to keep my children safe. So I can tell you that.
Okay, so let me go one more place on this.
You should point out that that's smaller than the reported number, Bill. Or are you saying that the reported number is inaccurate?
I'm not. All I'm telling you is the truth. 20 years, 6 months, Fox News Channel. I resolved 3 things. That is the truth.
Bill, on the Wheel affidavit, the New York Times fails to recognize here that this is a legal document, and she is a member of the bar, and that if she signed something that was not true, she should be disbarred. She's not.
It's worse than that. And I'm not impugning or saying anything. I'm talking in a general sense now.
She's not saying any of this, but the New York Times is just speaking for her. Go ahead.
If any American citizen signs an affidavit that's notarized, all right, it's under the perjury law, so you can be prosecuted if what you're saying is not true, which is why the affidavit becomes so vitally important. And here's the kicker. We gave that to the New York Times. They had that. They did not print it. Then their weasel reporter, the most dishonest man on the face of the earth, tweets out, O'Reilly says, we didn't mention the affidavit. And we did. I didn't say you didn't mention it. I said you didn't print it. And you should have printed it up top because that's the story. But they didn't want that to be out because that wrecked their story, which they already had written, no matter what I said or gave them. And we gave them an unbelievable amount of stuff from day one of my tenure with Fox News. They know, but they don't care because this was a hit job to get me out of the marketplace. And then you'll have the left go, oh, this is paranoid, oh, yeah. Okay, you can back that up 50 different ways. Media Matters is involved. CNN is involved. I mean, and it's beyond any doubt. So, again, I will tell everybody, we've got our statement posted on BillO'Reilly.com. We've got the affidavit posted. We've got letters from Gretchen Carlson and Megyn Kelly to me posted. Everything is there.
Okay.
If you still want to think I'm a bad guy, go ahead.
Okay, hang on.
The truth is the truth.
All right, hang on. I have to take a break, and then I want to come back and talk to you about what Megyn said today, because this is a separate issue, but I think you should address that as well. Coming up in a second. This is Megyn Kelly on today's broadcast.
It's a malicious smear claiming that no woman in 20 years ever complained to Human Resources or legal about him. Maybe that is true. Fox News was not exactly a friendly environment for harassment victims who wanted to report, in my experience. However, O'Reilly's suggestion that no one ever complained about his behavior is false. I know because I complained. It was November of 2016, the day my memoir was released. In it, I included a chapter on Ailes and the sexual harassment scandal at Fox News, something the Murdochs knew I was doing and, to their credit, approved. O'Reilly happened to be on CBS News that morning. They asked him about my book and about Ailes, who by this time had been forced out in disgrace. O'Reilly's response?
I'm not that interested in this.
No?
No, I mean, it's
sexual harassment? You're not interested in sexual harassment?
I'm not interested in basically litigating something that is finished that makes my network look bad. Okay? I'm not interested in making my network look bad at all. That doesn't interest me one bit.
So her complaint, Bill, that she filed was that you made it tough for people to come out against the network because of statements like that.
Number one, she didn't file a complaint. Not that I know of. It was never brought to our attention that Megyn Kelly did anything. All right, so I'd like to see it because I don't believe that's true at all. Number two, what she does not say is that there's an anonymous hotline, and there had been for years at Fox News, where anybody could have called up and said, so-and-so is doing something to me, and you better stop it. All right? That's anonymous. Doesn't mention it. Number three, I'd like you to read the notes that I gave you back to your audience from Megyn Kelly to me, the personal notes.
Do you happen to have them in front of you? Because my iPad just went down.
Convenient.
Hang on. So Megyn Kelly wrote to you, Dear Bill, what a class act you are. Something to my baby. Please come to my baby shower. No. What a class act you are. Coming to my baby shower. I was truly touched. I know how busy you are, especially that time of the day. It meant a lot to me. And Dory, thank you for the darling bodysuits and snugglies. It's kind. No, it's hard to believe. Soon have a little human being in our lives to fit into those. You've become a dear friend, no matter what they say, and I am grateful to have you in my life, Megyn Kelly.
That's letter number one. Okay. And letter number two.
Letter number two. Thank you for the something on Dory's book.
Mention. Thank you for the mention on Doug's book. Doug is her husband.
Doug's book. Okay. I realize you didn't have to do that, especially after mentioning it already. I appreciate how supportive you have been to me over the years here at Fox News. You're a true friend and mentor. And I want to give one more letter. This is the one, and these are going to be published up at The Blaze and glenbeck.com. This one is from Gretchen Carlson. Right. Bill, thank you for being the calm in the sea. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for being my friend. It means the world to me. GC.
Yeah. So, look, I think that anybody, any fair-minded person, and I really appreciate you reading those to your listeners, I think that they can now start to formulate a picture here. Because the behavior that you pointed out at the beginning of the 11 o'clock hour Eastern Time is on the record. 43 years, no complaints, 12 different companies. And then you, Glenn Beck, know me now for what, 10 years, 12 years?
Yeah, something like that.
And you've been with me on the road. You know what I am. You know what I do. And now, with the statement we provided on BillO'Reilly.com, with the affidavit, the sworn affidavit, and with these three letters, two by Megyn Kelly and one by Gretchen Carlson, a picture should start to emerge for any fair-minded person. And that's all I can hope for, that the American people will see that this is a attack on an American citizen, me, for political purposes. And you know what? It's done enormous damage to me and to my family. And it is a horror and should never happen in our country.
Bill, what happens if companies settle lawsuits and then the affidavits and the non-disclosures don't mean anything?
Well, it's over now. Anybody who would be settling anything now is insane, because
so is that good?
In my case, all the confidentiality stuff was violated.
You told me about a year ago the biggest mistake you made was settling. So is this a good thing? Is this a good thing or not?
No, if I had to do it all over again, I never would have done it. But you've got to understand how much pain this brings children. And I thought I could spare my children that. I'd do anything for my children. anything to protect them. I give up my life for my children. And that's why I did it. But we actually thought that people would uphold their oath and what they agreed to, and they haven't. But let me get back to Megyn Kelly for a moment. I never had any problem with Megyn Kelly. In fact, when she was getting hammered earlier this year, I wrote a column sticking up for her. You know, I don't know why Megyn Kelly is doing what she's doing. I don't know why. I've helped her dramatically in her career. I gave her the name of her show, The Kelly File. She actually did a charity event for me. I mean, it is just incomprehensible.
Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. We'll talk to you again, Bill. Try to have a better day.